Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to walk you through my year 2019 because it honestly has been a pretty hard year, I would say. There's been a lot of incidences. There's just been a lot of stuff that has happened this year that has not been easy, and obviously there's been plenty of things in everyone's life that have been hard, but this year just happened to be like a lot of things because I've had horrible things happen in the past, but it was just kind of one thing and I was able to get over it and move through. But this year's just kind of been a lot. I'm sorry if I'm awkward at all or if I cry or anything like that. I just really wanted to make this video to be open with everyone because I think that that's very important, if not for you guys to help anyone out there, but for myself, because I think it's very important that as an individual we are able to express how we feel and just talk about things, because I find myself avoiding thinking about some stuff that's happened this year or talking about things like I just want to let you know that I'm not making this video to seek for any pity in anyone or make anyone jealous of my life or anything like that. I just think it's important to be open, and this is my channel and I planned on building a channel that is open and very much that people can connect. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's kind of why I'm making this video. And also, I need to pamper myself because I haven't done that in a while. So while I talk this through, I'm going to be doing some very important pampering, some facials. I'm going to remove my eyebrow hairs that need some help. This is going to be self-care on the outside and on the inside. So yeah. So the first thing I kind of wanted to talk about is my skin. I was put onto birth control combination pill in September of 2018, and ever since then my skin has not been the same, along with my hormones. I had never experienced PMS or anything like that since before birth control. But as soon as I started birth control, all of those things started happening. I started getting hormonal acne, just a lot of stuff, and I started getting multiple periods a month. And I stayed on birth control for about a year, so until September of this year. And I finally was like, I'm done, because I look horrible. My skin looked horrible. It still does. And I was tired of having 3 full-on periods a month, and also the PMS. Like, I was already angry at the world as is, and the PMS made things a lot more crazy. So I just want to put that out there and just kind of let you guys know where my skin is, because I think that is important considering I'm doing skincare here. So yeah, now I'm gonna start you through my year. So last year on New Year's, I was in Tampa with my mom, my sister, and my brother. We go up there to celebrate New Year's at my cousin's house. It's always so much fun, and it was like an amazing start to the year, and it was just a lot of fun. And I'm excited because I might be going back there this year. And then January, starts going through the days of January. And my brother actually has a son, and he hadn't seen his son in a year, because him and, I'm going to say Dominic, because Dominic's my brother's name is Gabriel, and his son's name is Dominic, and then Dominic obviously has a mom. So Dominic's mom and my brother were not in the most healthy relationship, and things weren't working out for them, so she moved away with the baby, which was perfectly fine. Some issues arose, And he was a baby, like, when she left. He was 3 months old when she left. So by January, he was a year and 3 months. Yeah, by January of last year, he was a year and 3 months. And my brother was just like really missing his son, because my brother's always been a very paternal guy. He'll be the one in the park, like when he was little, he used to squeeze everyone's cheeks, and he was always just like, he was the best like big brother. He loved kids. But my brother did have he struggled with substance abuse. So he never really had a job for a long time. He had a hard time, but he was never like, I'm saying this because I think that a lot of people put a bad name on people who have substance abuse or anything like that, but he was never a bad person. Like, he never did anything horrible. My brother was always very kind and sweet. It just, sadly, a lot of people, and my brother included, fell into that at a young age, and that was kind of it. So he had finally gotten, while his son was away with the mom, they'd moved away, he had gotten a full-time job. It was the longest job that he ever had, because normally he wouldn't really stick with a job. But he was with this job, he was making good money, he was coming home, he was so happy that he was providing and sending money to his son. So finally in January, she came back. It was for reasons of her own, but we didn't care because the baby was back and my brother was so excited. He was ready to be a dad. So on January 19th, Dominic came back with Dominic's mom, and my brother was the happiest guy ever. And he would come home from work and we would all play with Dominic, and just, it was beautiful. It's beautiful. But sadly, on January 23rd, my paternal grandma, so my dad's grandma, passed away from a heart attack. So we think that she suffered a heart attack while she was sleeping. We really are not sure, because the day before she actually went to the cardiologist and they said everything looks good. So, and she was a super active woman. When I tell you my grandma would do more in a day than I did in a week, I'm not joking. She was crazy, but in the best way. So that was kind of hard on all of us. It was because it was just so sudden, but obviously she was older. So as we were grieving through that, everything, we were feeling everything, and I actually decided to start my YouTube channel. So I filmed my first video on February 12th, after like all of like the funerals and all the different masses, because we had one in here, one in New York where she lived, one here where we live, and one in New York. Yeah. So after everything started settling down, I was like, I just had this like feeling where I needed to do this YouTube channel, which is something I've been wanting to do since I was really little. I watched my first makeup tutorial in 5th grade, and ever since then I would come home from school and that would be my favorite thing to do. I'd borrow my mom's makeup, I'd do everything. I'd talk in the mirror and do tutorials from like when I was 9 or 10. So something about going through that grieving process, I guess, just made me want to start this. So I posted my first video on Valentine's Day of 2019. I was very happy. It was very cool. And yeah, I was just like proud of myself, and I think everyone in my family was very proud. They all told me like how happy they were because they knew that this was a dream of mine for a long time. So that was really cool. And then on February 16th, William and I, William is my boyfriend, I put a video with him a couple weeks ago. we went to celebrate, by the way, I'm using this razor, it like shaves your face. Any of the extra little hairs, they come off. We went to go celebrate Valentine's Day because Valentine's Day was on a Thursday, so we decided to like celebrate it on that weekend. So we celebrated it on February 16th, and we went to a museum. It was very, very cool. And towards the end of our visit there, I received a call from my parents telling me I need to come home right now, that I kept asking why, they wouldn't tell me why. They were crying, and it was just like one of those moments that your heart kind of drops and you're just confused. So William and I left. We left the museum. We started driving home. The whole way my hands were sweating. William and I were both like, what's happening? Because we were both just distraught. And as we pulled into my street, I saw cop cars, like an ambulance, my family outside crying. I didn't see my mom or the baby, so I was like, oh my god, maybe something happened to the baby. But technically, so the cop cars were actually at our neighbor's house, which is where my brother was staying. He was renting a room in my neighbor's house because the baby and the baby's mom were staying in his room in our house. So it's literally 2 houses down, but he gave his room to the baby and the baby's mom. So we get there, still have no clue what's going on, and the drive from the museum to my neighborhood, my house basically, was about like 30 minutes. So the whole time it was just like, what is happening? We were texting my sister what's happening, she wouldn't answer. So as soon as I got out of the car, I asked my sister, like, what happened? And she told me that my brother, Gabriel, had died. So my sister actually is the one who found him. My mom too, they tried to bring him back, and so we got there. I found that information out that day, and almost even the months after were basically a complete blur, because it had only been like 2.5 weeks since my grandma, who was a big part of our lives, passed away. And then my brother, so young and so happy, sadly passed away. He died because not because of an overdose, like, oh, let me take a bunch of drugs, I feel pain, like whatever reason people do that. He actually bought some drugs that had been laced with fentanyl. And if you don't know, fentanyl is actually very deadly. So, like, you can die just by touching it. So, sadly, that's what happened. They're still investigating. They still have all this stuff, and it's been almost a year. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a lip scrub. So, it was just a little bit confusing at first because we didn't know that at that time that it was fentanyl that had killed him. We were kind of contemplating whether he was unhappy, because obviously that happens to people. But we were confused because he had been the happiest he had been, and after he passed away, we actually had my cousin and many other people who he had talked to, his friends, send us screenshots of messages he had sent that week. And he was basically saying that he was so happy, and he was very proud of himself because he had his son back, and he was genuinely taking care of his son. And that's something that he found to be very important was to take care of his son and provide for him. So it was good and bad. It's good that he passed away when he was in a good place, when he was happy, but you know, there's so many other times that that could have happened to him because he had been using drugs for so long that it's hard, considering that when he was the happiest, that's when he passed away. So that became extremely difficult. But what happens a lot of the time, and I've heard this from some other people who've lost family members, like siblings specifically, is a lot of people, and I know that no one means this in any rude way, that a lot of people will tell you, oh, you know, you need to be strong for your parents, because obviously my parents lost a child. That's probably one of the hardest things. You know, that's not the way it's supposed to go. You're not supposed to lose your child. You're supposed to die before them. So that's something that a lot of people told me, which I completely understand, but I took that very literal, I guess. I kind of just completely ignored how it would have affected me, and I just tried to be there and be like the perfect child. And Dominic's mom was also very distraught. She was dealing with her own issues, and so I kind of took over the role of taking care of my nephew. I was with him basically all day, every day. I was there for my parents. I was just really trying to take care of everyone else that I could have. Maybe I wasn't doing the best job at it, I don't know. But I know that I was not taking care of myself at all. So, by the way, what I just put on my face was a scrub. I know it probably looked very weird. And this is where a lot of issues kind of came into my life, and also for my relationship with William. So literally in every way, shape, and form, I kind of just stopped taking care of myself. And you know, it's everyone's job to take care of themselves unless they're a baby, because if you're a baby, everyone else takes care of you. But no one was necessarily taking care of me and my mental health or anything like that, because I wasn't going to therapy because I was too busy taking care of my nephew. I actually stopped going to school last semester, like spring, because I was missing so much school and my parents needed help, because we actually got custody of my nephew Dominic, so we now have custody of him. My parents just needed help, and that's what I did. And it kind of came to the point that no one was taking care of me, and I was kind of just upset at everyone, and that includes in my relationship. I was just like confused because I was unhappy with myself. There's no actual issues in my relationships with anyone. It was just, I don't know, I had these internal expectations for someone to take care of me. So obviously everyone grieves differently, and everyone was grieving. I'm the type of person that if I'm sad, I kind of just need someone there. But the only person who was there was kind of my nephew, and he's a baby. So that wasn't working out that well. And you know, some people, like my boyfriend William, he needs to kind of be away to help process and grieve, and I like to be like surrounded. So it was just like, it started causing some issues in our relationship, which never caused us to change how we felt about each other, but just the dynamic was kind of just off. And at the time we didn't understand, so I think I'm not gonna speak for him, but I know I definitely like had some animosities built up towards him for really no reason at all. But I don't know. I was just sad. So that was hard, and William and I started becoming more distant from each other at that time, just because there was so much going on in our own lives, and we just weren't really seeing each other. We weren't necessarily seeing eye to eye. We didn't understand why, and that obviously puts stress on you, because we had been together for over 4 years, and that's, you know, he's my best friend, so it was just hard. And then in August, I decided to, you know, we stopped things for a little, our relationship. We didn't think it was for a little. We thought it was like a permanent situation, but it wasn't. Like, it ended up not being a permanent situation. So through that time, we kind of began to notice what had really happened and why we were really growing apart, and that it wasn't necessarily any issues of how we felt about each other or anything like that. But that time apart was definitely needed, and I definitely had time to reflect and feel through everything I was feeling. And thankfully, after like a month, we got back together and everything has been perfect. But I had to keep that in. I had to tell you guys about that because it was extremely stressful at the time. Obviously, if there's any issues in any relationship like that, it's hard, and especially like boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband. I mean, not husband and wife, but yeah, just on top of everything else, it was very stressful. But school started again and work started again, because I work at a school, so I work during the school year. So everything kind of was starting to get, like, I had a routine back. I was focusing on kind of trying to take care of myself. I still didn't really have the time to, because if I wasn't really working or at school, I was helping take care of Dominic. So that kind of became my everyday thing, but it was something I could get used to. Comes October, and it is our first Halloween without my brother or my grandma, and that's very hard. If any of you guys know me or my family, we are crazy. We celebrate every single holiday crazy and big. We have many traditions. We do a haunted house every year. We're just very big on holidays. So Halloween was just strange. I wouldn't say it's our biggest family holiday at all, but it was just like, it was difficult. But we made it through, and I was so happy that I was able to create a lot of content for you guys here on YouTube, and that just kind of kept me very busy and happy. And then throughout that time went on, and comes Thanksgiving. Honestly, since Thanksgiving till now, it feels like no holiday has even happened, because again, my family is very big on holidays, and to not have two very strong people, my grandma and my brother were very strong people and very big people in my life, I know, and in a lot of people's lives. It was just strange. And it honestly, like, although Christmas has passed, it does not feel like Christmas even happened. But on December 19th of this year, so like a week ago now, because I'm pre-filming this video, my grandma in Puerto Rico passed away. She had Alzheimer's, so her death was kind of, it was hard. You know, it's always sad to lose someone, and she was my last living grandparent, so it's just like crazy to think about the fact that I no longer have a grandparent who's alive. But yeah, so she passed away, and that was crazy. and hard. It's hard to explain, like, when someone dies, because I think we've all gone through these experiences. I would say my brother him passing away was a death that I can't even begin to explain. But yes, and my grandfather, who is my mom's dad, so my mom's mom passed away on the 19th, and my mom's dad passed away on December 25th, so on Christmas Day, but in 2015. So that day has always, even though Christmas is my favorite holiday, that day always now, ever since 2015, has had like a very my heart gets a little achy. But this year, like, honestly, it was just so much to think about all of those people gone. And we had our normal Christmas party, we had all the people over that we normally do, but it just didn't feel like Christmas. And for me, that's kind of crazy, because Christmas is like hands down my favorite time of the year. Yeah. And actually, today is December 27th, and it is my brother's birthday. So my brother would be 28 today on December 27th, 2019, if he was still around. So today I'm filming this, and in a little bit my family and I will be celebrating his life. So I am very optimistic about 2020, and I hope that it is a better year and an easier year. And for anyone else out there who's grieving or any of that, I'm sorry, my nephew woke up, so I got him. My mom has him now, so. But what I was saying is, if anyone else out there is grieving or going through a hard time, I just hope it passes for you and you can heal through it. So one thing that kind of, when I'm looking back at the year, that I realized is I put aside the things that made me happy, like doing my nails, hanging out with my friends, and not for any necessarily other reason than the fact that I was just so absorbed with the things that made me sad. And I know that my life is amazing, and I'm so grateful for it, because some of these experiences that I've had throughout the year are things that people deal with on a daily basis. There's people who deal with death every single day. There's people who have just extremely hard lives, and I honestly, my heart goes out to anyone who experiences such horrible things on a regular. And I'm grateful that my life, and I'm very blessed that my life has not been like this since I was born, and it's not a constant thing, and I know that it'll get better and all of that. And I wish that there was more love in this world, and that there was more help for anyone struggling and all of that. And I just want everyone to have the opportunity and to be able to experience happiness in their lives, because I'm so blessed that I have. But one thing I will say is that this channel has been a constant outlet, as well as like a constant thing in my life, because I started it 2 days before my brother passed away. My first video was posted 2 days before my brother passed away. 2 days before one of the hardest things that I've been through happened. And this channel, I've been posting consistently once a week since then. I filmed my second video on the day of my brother's funeral. And as crazy as that sounds, when people are like, why are you doing that? This is something that's my own, and it's something that I'm so grateful to have. Even though I know I'm a very small channel and all of that, but I'm grateful to have this place that I can show and teach kind of something that I'm so passionate about. So I just want to say thank you to everyone here, and I'm just so happy that I have this channel and that it has been my constant, because as much as I forgot about hanging out with friends, working on myself and my brain, I had this channel, and I think I missed one upload. So basically for almost an entire year now I've been posting once a week, and honestly it's something that I can feel proud about. I know, again, it's very small, it's nothing crazy, but I do genuinely enjoy posting and making videos and creating makeup looks and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, so I actually put the mask on my neck as well and a little bit on my shoulders because I'm breaking out like crazy. But I just wanted to say that this year has kind of made me feel a little bit more defeated, which is normally not something I feel, because I normally am kind of just content with things. But I know, and this goes for anyone out there who's experiencing anything hard, that things will get better for me and for everyone else out there. Everything is kind of temporary. The hard times are temporary, and at the end of the day I feel like we will all remember easier times, and if there are hard times, they will just make you stronger at the end. I know that sounds super cliche, but I do believe that that's true. I think I definitely found out more about myself, and I definitely did change from all of these things. Some ways are temporary ways that are not necessarily the best, and just like how I feel isn't the best, but I know that that will eventually, I will work on it and grow from it. And then also I think it's made me more resilient. So I think anyone who's going through anything, if you just kind of try to think about it that way, know that your mental health and your physical health and your emotional health is all very, very important, and you need to take care of it. It's like a little plant or a baby. Just gotta nurture yourself at the end of the day, because I think a lot of times we get caught up in stuff and we forget to like take care of us, you know, the body that we live in, the mind that we have. And that's something that I think everyone should work on more out there. Even if you're very good at that already, I think it's something that we should all think about. And that doesn't mean being selfish. That doesn't mean that you have to ignore everyone else and only take care of yourself. But that means to take time when you need time to grieve or to work through a heartbreak or any of that. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry if this video is all over the place. I had to stop recording at times because if I would have continued talking, you guys would have had no idea what I was talking about. So there's some stuff that got lost in confusion. There's some stuff that, I don't know, maybe this video makes absolutely no sense and you guys are trying to follow along with my year and it doesn't make any sense. So if that's the case, I'm sorry. But yeah, I tried. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to my year. A recap of my year. There's so much more that I should say and could say, but I feel better and more open, and I know that maybe at least one person will appreciate watching this video. And if one person does get something out of this video, or if if I'm able to help just one person, I would be so happy and blessed. So